The Switch's reign is coming to an end slowly but surely, and all of us Nintendo-loving fans out there are eager to see what Nintendo has cooking up for us next. In fact, since we had no September Direct, in all likelihood, we are days away from the official reveal. The Switch's successor is coming. So, today we'll go over everything we know about the Switch's successor so far from the mouth of Nintendo themselves, and then delve into the various leaked and rumored information that has yet to be verified. We'll start with what we know for certain, thanks to Nintendo themselves sharing this information with us. Thanks to Nintendo, we know for certain the announcement of the Switch 2, the Switch's successor, will come within the fiscal year. We got this Twitter post from Nintendo themselves. This is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. Sorry if I said that wrong. We will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within the fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. And of course, as we know, they talked about the June Direct and how they wouldn't be announcing it then. Very interesting that they made sure that they specified they wouldn't be announcing it that Direct, and then we don't even get a September Direct. We also know, thanks to Nintendo themselves, that Nintendo plans to make plenty of the new system in anticipation of demand, so customers will have an easier time getting their hands on the Switch's successor. I believe the Switch was actually relatively easy to get compared to other systems, but it was still hard to find a store that had them. When you compare that to other systems, such as the PlayStation, which I know my husband had to pay several hundred more than it was actually selling for from scalpers because they never had them in stock. I remember one time hearing that it was going to be restocked on the website and literally sitting on that website till it was time, refreshing, and by the time I refreshed, they were sold out. How? But Nintendo is making sure that this isn't going to be an issue with their next system. They are looking ahead and making sure that we do not have any issues at launch, and I really appreciate that from them. A lot of the times companies push that onto the consumers, like if you can't get your hands on it, you can't get your hands on it. But Nintendo knows better than that. Sadly, that's all we know for certain from Nintendo themselves. Next, let's talk about the most recent leak that has the entire Nintendo community losing their minds. And of course, that is the Switch 2 factory prototypes were apparently leaked. According to the photos, the Switch's successor will have an 8-inch screen, magnetic Joy-Cons, and USB-C port on both the top and the bottom. And I have these photos on the screen right now. You can see both the front of the system, the back of the system, which from what we can see, it has like a bigger footrest on this one. Top and bottom, of course, where you can see those two different USB-C ports. Then here are the Joy-Cons. Now this is probably one of the bigger changes. Of course, you know, they are bigger in general, but it's just really cool because they have that, what we do believe to be the magnetic Joy-Con setup, which I'm hoping solves some of the issues the current Joy-Cons have. I'm also hoping not to have Joy-Con drift. That we'll see. And in this photo, you can see the size difference between the current Nintendo Switch and the Switch's successor. We also have, from that, these actual, physical versions of them, the factory prototypes, and I'm putting them on screen now. You can see the actual system that appears like they are using this as a test one. It's pretty scratched up, it's pretty used. I don't know much about the inside of the system, but you can definitely see the Joy-Cons match exactly what this scan looked like. This digital version matches exactly to them. You can see the little section that's supposed to be the magnet spot. It's really interesting, and I'm really excited because if that's what it is, then there we go. We've seen it. We know what the Switch 2 is going to be. Now, that leak has some serious possible validity to it, so that's super exciting. But now, let's go over all the other rumors and leaks, each having various validity to them. Some contradict each other, and some seem to fit up with other rumors and leaks, giving us more belief in some over others. Now, one of the rumors I've seen is that the Switch 2 was initially planned to launch in 2024, but its launch was pushed back to Q1 of 2025. Of course, that would be January to March, which a March release would be awesome. I can see this possibly being true, seeing as the timeline could match up with it, but of course it doesn't really matter all that much because it's not like it's being pushed back too far. And ultimately, we want Nintendo to take their time on it till it's exactly how they want it. Another crazy one I saw is that the Switch 2 could possibly launch as early as October 2024, so here we are. I don't think that's very true. I mean, heck, Nintendo could like reveal and release all in one, but I really doubt that that's it. Seeing as they wanted to make it clear that we would have plenty of them on the shelves, I think that they want to give us, you know, a few months to really prepare for it, so I really don't see that happening. Another rumor is that the Switch 2 is in mass production and will release March 2025. Now this one I could definitely see happening since it matches the fact that Nintendo has specified to us that they are trying really their hardest to make sure that we have plenty of them, so mass production already would make sense if that's the case. Also then, of course, they would have the prototypes at this point if they were making them already. And March 2025 would be a good release window. I mean, the Nintendo Switch released in March and turned out good. That also puts them within the current fiscal year, so they kind of get some of the sales in that fiscal year, meaning it boosts that year, of course. So then it doesn't look as bad as the previous year when we were seeing just non-stop drop because, you know, the Switch is reaching its end. That's totally normal and okay. But of course all these big companies just want up, up, up. So if they release it in March, they kind of have some of those earnings in this year, but then next year will be absolutely massive, obviously. I've seen another rumor that the Switch 2 won't release until after April of 2025 and will be most likely to release in April or May, aka early to mid 2025. I mean, I could see this one being just as valid. Honestly, if we get a reveal sometime soon, April 2025 or even May kind of seems to fit with that. Of course, the Nintendo Switch was, revealed in October and then released in March. Sorry, I had to process there for a second. Even though there's like a certain pattern, you can't really predict things too heavily with Nintendo because they really like to go their own way with things. So I could definitely see that. I'm kind of, due to personal things, I'm kind of hoping earlier in the year because I think I'll be busy in May, but I'll get more into that at a later date. Now, before we even got the most recent leak, we actually got a leak that the Switch 2 will have an 8-inch screen and feature backwards compatibility with both games and Joy-Cons. So now with the most recent leak that actually showed the factory prototypes, that gives even more validity to it having an 8-inch screen, because obviously both of those match each other. So then it kind of leans more towards, okay, then does that also mean we're going to have backwards compatibility with games and Joy-Cons? Now, if it really is this system that we really do believe it is, that would work so well because this system looks very similar to the Switch. It really is like a Switch 2. So if that's the case, it would be really easy for it to be backwards compatible with the games, and then of course the Joy-Cons. They probably wouldn't slip into it, but you could obviously like just use them when you're playing multiplayer games. Everybody can bring their own remotes, or you can have to charge your current ones and use your old Joy-Cons while those ones are charging in the Switch 2. I could definitely see that happening. I hope that happens because that would save all of us a good bit of money. Another rumor is the Switch 2 will have larger Joy-Cons and may attach via magnets and have more buttons, which also, that one matches the most recent leak that had the factory prototypes because they are larger Joy-Cons because the Switch is larger. The Switch 2 is larger. And then they attach via magnets. And yeah, they do have this extra button, I noticed, that's kind of like towards the inside. Very interesting. A lot of people are speculating that is for detaching the magnet part. So if that's the case, that's just another feature to help it detach. Which makes sense, we don't need that many buttons. Another rumor is the Switch 2 was rumored to have been demoed at a Gamescom 2023 behind closed doors show off of the new system to show how it works. Obviously this one was from 2023, so this has been a rumor for a while, but if they already had like the base idea of what they were doing and were just, working out the kinks and getting things really worked up, I could totally see that have happened. I mean, you gotta consider all the people that they want to invest in them and to work with them. They gotta give them something. Rumored specs will be that the Switch 2, despite people's hopes, will be more powerful than the Switch, but not as powerful as next-gen systems like the PlayStation 5. But its dock may also have extra processors on it to buff up the processing power significantly when docked. We also will see a significant increase in storage space, up to 512 gigabyte. That's very exciting. I mean, to me, the processing isn't too super important because, I play more cutesy games. But I know in order to get some of the other games over to the Switch that are on the other consoles, this will be really helpful. And of course, if it can process better, hopefully that means that it won't take as much battery to I'm not sure how that stuff works. Upgrades, people, upgrades. Another rumor suggests that the Switch 2 will have an LCD screen that's 8 inches and 1080p resolution, which currently matches that the other one showed that it was 8 inches. LCD screen, that I believe that. I know a lot of people were hoping for OLED, but personally, as a price standpoint, I would prefer that they, similar to the Switch, have an OLED version later down the line, because I'm fine with my LCD screen. You know, save me a little money. And 1080p resolution sounds about right. Now we get to the rumor that there will be a new Mario 3D game as a launch title. I could 100% see this happening. After all, when the Nintendo Switch came out, we had Super Mario Odyssey to look forward to, so imagine if after all this time, I have been wanting it for a long time, after all this time we finally got Super Mario Odyssey 2 for the Switch 2? Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Or even something similar, but really, Odyssey 2 was freaking bomb. That was a really good game. We need another one. That was so freaking fun. We also have a rumor that a new Mario Kart game called Mario Kart X is coming out in the second year of the Switch 2's life, and it'll be Nintendo's most expensive game ever produced. This is a really interesting rumor to me because you're looking so far ahead. New Mario Kart game called Mario Kart X. So like, they're not doing Mario Kart 9? I mean, X also means 10, so what? It doesn't mean, but it can mean. You know what I mean. And it's coming out in the second year? Who's looking this far? Who's got this information this far ahead? And why is Nintendo waiting so long? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is a remaster with all the DLC, or whatever, with all the DLC included for the Switch, that they initially put on the Wii U, and it's literally the #1 best-selling Nintendo Switch game of all time. By a long shot, too. I mean, Animal Crossing is second best, but it's a big gap. Like, that's insane to me. I would honestly see them bringing it as, like, in the first year, if not a release title. So I don't know. And it's the most expensive game ever produced. That's kind of scary to me. It's a Mario Kart. It's Mario Kart. I don't really see how that could be the most expensive game. Like, I can see why Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild would be expensive, why that would cost so much. But Mario Kart? I can see it costing a lot, but the most expensive game ever produced? I don't know. I'm having a hard time believing that one. And that's all we know so far. Well, really, we know very little for certain. But with all the little bits and bobs of information coming to us every day now, it seems, it's just a matter of time before we know everything. We know the reveal is coming soon, and I, for one, can't wait to see the official, real Switch's successor grace our screens. Let me know which rumor you believe in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoy Animal Crossing, Tomodachi Life, and cozy Nintendo gaming in general, consider subscribing to join the family. And if you liked today's video, gently tap that like button so YouTube likes me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Love you all! Bye!